Well, what role Canada can play in deterring Russia and supporting Ukraine is still being worked out. It is on the agenda of a virtual cabinet retreat the Prime Minister is hosting. At the same time, government sources tell Global News there's been a cyber attack on the Federal Department of Global Affairs, and Russia is suspected of being behind it. Our Ottawa Bureau Chief Mercedes Stephenson has more information on that. Mercedes.
Donna, the attack began on Friday, but Canadian security agencies are still actively dealing with the fallout as we speak tonight. Sources are describing the multi-day disruption as substantial, and both government and security sources tell Global News Russia or Russian-based hackers are believed to be behind it. The cyber attack comes after a Canadian intelligence agency warned of an impending Russian attack or attacks last week. Sources believe the cyber attack is in retaliation for Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly's trip to Ukraine and a Canadian promise of $120 million loan to Kyiv. It's unclear how much damage the attack may have caused or whether any information was compromised or stolen. Sources say the government expects more potential attacks in the future.
And Mercedes, is there any news today on what Canada is prepared to do to support Ukraine and our NATO allies, both militarily and diplomatically?
Well, Donna, the Ukrainian government has asked Canada for weapons and more troops. Right now, there are about 200 Canadians on a training mission in Ukraine known as Operation Unifier. Sources tell Global News that the Canadian government is likely to approve a request for weapons, and that is in front of Cabinet right now. If Cabinet agrees to that, the Canadian Armed Forces will deliver small arms and ammunition. That means pistols, rifles, machine guns, sniper rifles, and all the bullets and optics that would go along with them. The Canadian military has already started moving those stocks into position if Cabinet does approve them. But to be clear, this is not a massive amount of weapons we're talking about. We're talking about hundreds, not thousands of guns. This is what the Prime Minister had to say about the government's support for Ukraine.
We will continue to work closely with the government of Ukraine to ensure they get the support they need. And I'm sure there will be more announcements to come.
The Prime Minister is expected to make an announcement on Wednesday. We'll find out what that is. The government is trying to send a strong message to Russia without antagonizing them. And nothing, of course, will be done, Donna, without coordination of our allies.
All right, Mercedes Stephenson in Ottawa, thanks.